It's Monday morning, welcoming you to Breakfast Central on News Central. Yes, you might be wondering, why are we seated on a Monday morning? Well, we have decided to take it very slow, nice, and most importantly, to start the day on a very, very bright note. Even though some of the stories that we do have right in front of us are stories that would warrant you to have a rethink, especially on critical issues that borders on a lot. But I would save that for later. Welcome to Breakfast Central. I'm Joe Hansen, and I'm saying good morning.
Good morning. I am Olive Emodi. Very delighted to be back here with you this week. Thank you for staying tuned with us all through the course of the weekend when we had Breakfast Extra. And now coming back to continue our conversations with us this morning on Breakfast Central. This morning we will be exploring a number of conversations looking at the state of insecurity in the country, as well as a number of key happenings in Nigeria's political space. Remember that you can engage at News Central TV on all social media platforms. I particularly like to check out YouTube every once in a while. So before the show ends today, if you have reactions to anything that we're saying, please drop a comment in the comment section and we would read out your comments on air. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. How are you, Joe?
Well, not bad. It's been a I'd say a weekend filled with very little activities, because on Saturday it rained heavily in Lagos. So indoors was just the best thing to do. Just stay indoors and avoid getting drenched by the rain. Besides that, pretty much the news space has been filled with one dramatic story or the other. We did hear of the coalition party eventually emerging, but they are indeed alleged coalition party. But then again, there were, I wouldn't say alleged in totality.
Yes,
there were videos of the political party members, and then the logo also came out that had. But I have a question. Why was there corn? I didn't know you saw that too. Why was there a corn?
Like what? Why is that Abado? Some people said ADA means Ada. I hope I pronounced it properly in the Yoruba language, and Ada means cutlass.
Cutlass.
So that they want to use cutlass to cut away the challenges in Nigeria. So I say, we don't want to be led by cutlass. So I beg, Ada. Very interesting one there.
So now there's also an alleged. Now this is where the alleged comes in. Alleged claim that the coalition party we saw, is quite different from another coalition party.
No, quite different from the coalition party that we are expecting.
Exactly.
Because the coalition party that has been talked about in the news has been the one that will purportedly be led by certain key leaders in the Labour Party, the People's Democratic Party, who are coming together because the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
My friend. So I have to now take him as my enemy.
So, you now align together at the center to kick out the powers at the center.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a shock that we're finding, or we are hearing, that it's not the coalition that we have been expecting. So maybe we expect another coalition. Or you just want to keep it on the low for now. We don't know.
Maybe. So there are multiple coalitions. We don't know yet. We're just saying. But just in case you've been following News Central right from the weekend, we've broken the story. We've gone even as far as ensuring that we speak with those who matter, that have been part of this seemingly coalition party, which has been rumored to come forth and kick out the current ruling party come 2027. But I'm certain that the APC in itself is laughing, as it were, because it seems like the coalition party that was expected, is also going to give birth to another coalition party. So there's so many stories. Don't worry. If you're confused, just stay with us, because today we're going to discuss that. I'm sure it's part of our conversation as I look through our list here. But let's start off with our wake-up conversations on a Monday morning. First, believing that you had a great weekend. Well, it wasn't all smooth and good for residents of Plateau State, not forgetting to residents of Benue as well. Just 48 or many hours after the president left.
Friday night,
yes.
I think. Friday night at 9:47 p.m.
Exactly. After he left to focus on commissioning some projects, guess what? Insecurity reared its ugly head again. The one that particularly happened in Plateau State saw the lynching and killing of few persons who were said to have just driven into a community. That community was said to always stand on their toes, ensuring that they kept watch against insecurity. So the story it's a bit mixed.
It's a very uncomfortable story, really, because again it highlights the state of insecurity in our country. So it was reported that on the 20th of June at 9:47 p.m., the Plateau State Police Command received intelligence that a group of travelers in a bus on their way from Mangu local government area in Zaria, Kaduna State, they were heading to a wedding in, they were heading from Zaria in Kaduna State. They were attacked in Mangu local government area, and that their bus, they lost their way. So I think, I'm not quite sure, but there's an assumption that because they lost their way, the residents had assumed that these were terrorists while I can never, ever support the mob attack, I can understand in some measure the apprehension on the part of the local government's residents, because they faced so much insecurity attacks in the past few weeks. It's felt like they've had no break. So everybody and anybody is a suspect at this point. But then again, they unfortunately hurt innocent people. And this is really sad.
Very sad. At least 12 travelers from the Basawa community in Zaria local government area of Kaduna State are also killed in an attack by a mob in Mangu local government area of Plateau State. Now, the incident, we're told, occurred at 8 p.m. on Friday when a group of 31 individuals, this included men, children, women, who were traveling in an 18-seater bus reportedly owned by Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. The pictures are also on social media, and the pictures show how the bus was burnt. You could only recognize the Ahmadu Bello written there, but the rest of the body of the bus was indeed burnt almost beyond recognition. Well, this is not just all. The president is condemning not just that which took place in Plateau State. There is a complete information about the insecurity that took place as soon as the president had finished talking tough in Benue State. Well, let's tell you that a total of 59 persons have been said to be killed. First, we have in Borno State, we have in Kano, Kebbi, Plateau. So if we break it down, 30 were killed in Kebbi, 12 persons who were identified as wedding guests were murdered in Plateau. In Borno State, 12 persons died in a suicide bombing carried out in a fish market by a woman, while in Kano State, a military mortar bomb went off along the eastern bypass in Kano, the state capital, on Saturday, killing 5 persons in the process. 12 died in Borno suicide bombing. Suicide bombing was another very sad one that took place this weekend. And this happened in Konduga LG of Borno State, and they were told that the residents were also told that it was a woman. So all of these things happening at the same time. It makes me wonder if the current administration, there is a purported, or there is a direct plan or implication by these insurgents to thwart the current administration's ability to rule, or better still, to continue to navigate all its policies, whether it's on security, it's on economy. There is a plan to thwart all of the plans to ensure that none of these come to fruition. Because this weekend, we've seen mass attacks from all of these states mentioned, from Borno, Kano, Kebbi, Plateau. And then you start to wonder what's going to happen next. It almost seems like our security operatives are indeed
overwhelmed.
They're overwhelmed,
yes,
because you do not know how to go about all of these things at the same time.
There's a lot happening. It feels like, again, they have their hands full. I know that they try to assure us that they're on top of their game, which I can believe in some measure, but it's a lot. It's a lot. It's why when we talk about the security architecture in Nigeria, some of the security experts we have on the show would ask why we're having the military involved in a number of these conversations, because their focus should be on protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria from external aggression. But now, because of how overburdened, overwhelmed our security agencies have become, we then have to have the military looking inwards and trying to fix situations within the country. It's a really sorry state that we're in. in terms of our security challenges, and also just talk about how citizens are on the edge right now. Reports have it that a number of people have been arrested in connection to the lynching that happened in Plateau State, but citizens are on the edge. The police has urged and advised that when you see any suspicious activity, rather than taking the law into your hands, you should report the suspicious activity. Our hearts go out to the families of the loved ones who are, or the people who have passed or who were killed in the lynching, in the mob attack in Plateau State. But that's what happens when systems have failed, right? Our security systems have been failing. So right now, citizens feel like they've become their own security experts. Citizens do a lot of things for themselves. The citizens provide electricity for themselves, they provide water for themselves, now they provide security for themselves. So it's just really sorry. We would have shared videos from this lynching, but unfortunately, they're very, very gory. So we will not be able to share them on TV.
Absolutely, absolutely. But then again, you did see the tweet from the president himself where he had talked about how he's in no way, in support of this. He's saddened and outraged by the series of tragic events. He condemns them strongly, but that has also been a case where Nigerians have reacted, because you do recall that in previous administrations, the word condemned was widely used, especially during the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, where for 8 years straight, there were so many condemnations, and Nigerians would say that the condemnations in terms of responses, press releases, reactions, were even more than what was done. But we wouldn't take that to be absolute truth, because we also believe that the gallant military forces have done their best and continue to try to do their best to ensure that they can provide succor to those who have been affected by these heinous crimes. But then again, let's see reactions from some Nigerians, especially on this issue. We do have a tweet right there. Fortunately, somehow we have at Oyani_O. Says, Your Excellency, Mr. President, thank you for your statement on the recent heartbreaking tragedies in Borno, Plateau, Kano, and other affected regions. Your words of condolence and resolve are noted, and your commitment to standing with the people in these dark times is appreciated. However, as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, your authority goes beyond expressions of sympathy or urgent action. At this critical juncture, Nigerians are not merely looking for empathy, we are yearning for decisive, time-bound leadership that conveys both compassion and command. Respectfully, it is no longer enough to urge the security forces or to direct collaboration among agencies. The situation demands that you order results within specific timelines. Within 72 hours, we should see tangible outcomes, including arrests, actionable intelligence, and an immediate visible presence of federal security forces in vulnerable areas. And then he goes ahead to mention what should be done. Now, this is a concerned Nigerian who feels that it's good to say you condemn, but then again, let me help out. And then he breaks down what the president can do. And like I always say, no man is an island. Sometimes even the security agencies could be overly overwhelmed, or better still, they might want to go into the books and see what should be done. Another one, Harmless 12345 says, Mr. President, we're not angry with you over the insecurity in the country because you did not promise to secure the country. Do not mind these charlatans who are expecting you to protect this country. Please, which other country are you vacating to? We're waiting for the pics. Now, this would say is sarcasm in its highest height. In other words, that tweet or that X, if you put it that way, is simply speaking, kind of like in a sarcastic manner, possibly asking the president, we know you wouldn't do anything. Right. But of course, that's not true. We want to just start our Monday on the positive note that something will be done.
Amen. Speaking about something being done, the people who have done something about our security situation, our law enforcement agencies, our police officers, we have reports from one of them who has shared about his pension and his gratuity, and it's just the most heartbreaking video. Let's take a look at this video of a Nigerian policeman, a retiree, who laments his gratuity of, find out for yourself. After serving Nigeria for 35 years, this is what he got.
I laugh. A retired superintendent of police. retired from the Nigerian police in 2023, October 1st. Since then, nothing has been paid to me. Just 2 weeks back, they called me that they are going to pay me 3 million naira. What for? They say that is my pension. Lo and behold, the 3 million naira is not just all the whole pension. That 1 million naira is my arrears for the time, from the time I retired to date. Then 2 million naira is my entitlement. I cannot serve this country for good 35 years and being paid 2 million naira. The devil is a liar. Please, the IG, let the IG hear this. I was a superintendent of police before retirement. Even if your brother happens to be a police superintendent of police today and he is being asked to take 2 million naira home as a retirement benefit, ask yourself if it will be well. I am not collecting that money. I am not going to collect that money. Let my service be in vain. I don't give a shit. I don't have money. And 2 million naira will not solve or make me being a rich man. It will never. I'm not rich. And because of, I will not, no. Wasted all my years thinking that I'll take something home after retirement. All the police will do is to give me 2 million naira. What a shame. And I said, I serve my father's land. I serve my country wholeheartedly.
So I'm a bit confused. That 2 million is it? 2 million is for what? For a superintendent of police.
Superintendent.
So that would be how much if they were to now make that
calculation together.
Into
I mean, for those who are watching, you can bring out your phones too.
So let's say for a year.
2 million. It's just do 35.
That's
do
like
35 years divided by 2 million.
For a
35
year.
divided by 2 million.
I don't understand. So wait,
that's even harder.
I'm confused.
Okay.
Watching that video made me start second guessing myself and asking if I understand how pension works. That is the pension paid monthly, or is it paid yearly, or is that the final one of for the rest of your life? Thank you very much.
So he was earning 57 each year 57,142 naira. If we're to sum it up, it was 58,000 naira in a year that was collecting for his gratuity. So for 35 years, he got 2 million naira.
That's terrible. So something is wrong. It's either his pension wasn't being paid, because we know that there are a number of, the police is not a private organization, but there are organizations where they hire their staff and they're paying them salaries, but they're not paying their pension, right? Let's not act like there aren't people who do that, even though it's a criminal offense. So it's either his pension wasn't properly paid, which is not excuse enough, or this is just total foul play at work.
Olive, I can tell you this, that he's not the only one. He's not the only one. The difference is that there are many police officers who were equally on his level or even above that have not even collected their gratuity, or some who have. And we can call out the police force here on this program today and also call out on those people to come out. I bet you that if we threw an open field on this, the police force would be amazed. It's not that they don't know. But then again, this is my worry in all of this. This is the same police officers you expect to protect lives and properties. But when it comes to their remuneration, they are not well paid.
How do you expect them to give their best?
Exactly.
Because
how
even
do you
the ones that are here
them?
Today, they're seeing that video.
70,000
Those who are working
55,000
and 70 days, they're seeing that their Oga worked for 35 years.
35 years.
And he's getting 2 million.
Got 2 million.
At the end of the day, they will keep cutting corners. They'll keep stopping people and asking them anything for the boys, happy weekend, and terrorizing people because they're trying to collect money to make ends meet. Because they've realized that their destiny is in their hands. If you watch this video to the end, he said
that end really touched me.
Oh, the end, he threatened them.
Yes.
He said there's no problem. If they don't do anything about it, they will learn.
And he used very dark man's statement.
Yes, they will learn the hard way.
This calls for a clear, you see, you may start wondering why it is that sometimes the police force is not as what you want it to be, active, or they are not proactive, and so on. How many police officers, as we speak today, will watch this video and in their right frame of mind will want to rededicate themselves to giving their best? How much does a senator earn? This conversation, that question has been has been back and forth, here nor there, senators dodging and running away from their actual salaries because they don't want to mention it. But let's just state clearly what some of the facts we've gotten, that a senator can be is mentioned to earn 29 million naira. Some of them will tell you, no, our salary is 1.5 million naira. Even if a senator earns 1.5 million naira, there's wardrobe allowance, there's this, there's that, there's so many things. The person that protects him and is said to protect the people, do you wonder why sometimes when they say private security officers, you have the policemen going further to protect civilians, or in quotes, the senators? And I beg to say this, those even engage in crimes, as it were, they may even have access to some of these security operatives if they want to have them, because they can pay for it. But the point is this, look at how much, wow, Nigeria.
Anyway, it's a painful situation. It's a sad and sorry side. I said it on this show before, how I once was speaking with a police officer. I don't want to call the area, so they probably can't trace it, but here in Lagos. And he was saying how he wants to retire, that he has to exit the police force to go and start farming because he was not able to make ends meet. And these are people that you give weapons to carry every day. They're carrying weapons. They're putting themselves under the sun, putting themselves on the line to be able to protect the peace. How do you expect them to give their best when they're barely adequately remunerated? When we talked about NSAS in 2020, the police, yes, the law enforcement agents tried to stop or curb the violence. But part of the fight NSAS was also for the Nigerian police. Part of what they were asking for, yes, they were saying regulate the police and the SARS department, but also pay them properly, kit them properly, give them insurance, give them the things that can make them happy to come to work, not, venting their frustration on the average Nigerians. So when this video surfaced, if you check the comment section, unfortunately, in Omoyele Showari's page, because that's where he posted it, you would see people there saying, oh yeah, now, should be when we were fighting for you people. You chose to silence us, you chose to stand with the government as opposed to standing with us. A very sad response, because at the end of the day, regardless of how it turns out, we are all going to feel the heat. If they're not properly taken care of,
they will cut corners.
Yes, and it will affect all of us.
Indiscriminate roadblocks. You have all of that. People mounting roadblocks telling where you're going to, tell them that they should not survive. They would survive. They have children too in school. I mean, if you compare this to what a UK constable, or better still, a UK police officer earns, I mean, take a look at that. A UK police officer earns as high as £29,000. And then it goes up to about £61,000 when they become sergeants. Now compare that to we're not saying there's no crime in the UK, but of course, we can say that there's crime everywhere, but they are controlled to a certain level because you have dedicated policemen who are willing to go as far as, you will still find corrupt officers in every single country. But then again, you cannot, look at the spate of insecurity, and then you expect people to rededicate themselves and fight it to the end. It's going to be very questionable. But talking about insecurity, another video has emerged. Now, this video has been circulating online. It's a video that also becomes worrisome to every single Nigerian. It's in Bayelsa State, and that video clearly shows a justice who, in quotes, was kidnapped. Now, if you've not seen the video, we'll do well to show that video to you. And the question is, what is really going on with the security, especially not just in different parts of the country, but almost all over the country? But take a look. Just watch for yourself.
They should not see you.
My car is tinted.
Okay. You can't off it. Now why are you owning it? Why you off the car? Oh man, this thing is serious, man. Jesus Christ.
Well, I know you may be saying, but that's a security car, a security operative car. That's better still, you could say, a force car. But I mean, we spoke to some reliable security forces, and they told us that it's actually a kidnap. And that's one of the justices in Bayelsa State. That video shows where he was being forced into his car, and the men all dressed in the entire military gear, putting on the security outfits, ensuring that they carried out this process of possibly taking him away.
That's a very scary video to witness. Scary not just because it's a kidnap, but scary because they're wearing security apparel attire. So you assume, if you're an onlooker, a bystander, you assume that this is a law enforcement agent. You see them on the road, and maybe they tell you to stop for a stop and search, and you stop because in your mind you think, oh, this is the police, not realizing that this is a kidnapper. You see how much of a problem we're in? We are really in. We really need to look at this. I remember the time they were telling us how to identify the real police officers and all of that. Name tags. How would that one play out here? So when they stop me, I'll be telling them, sorry, please, can I see your identification? By the time they use gun and wipe your head, see how they were arresting this man, kidnapping this man.
Yeah.
It's just, again, reminds us of how sorry it is, how much in a sorry state we are when it comes to our fight with insecurity. In fact, in the past 2 weeks, it feels like every day, one story or the other. We haven't had a break as a nation. And it's just really unfortunate for us to be where we are. And I think my concerns are what the next steps are. Do we know a way out of this? Are we going to constantly keep reporting insecurity here on the show?
And keep condemning it.
Condemn the actions. Do we see any steps, active steps that have been taken that will drastically reduce it? Where we hear of forest guards, we hear about all these moves. Are they really reducing the numbers? I think these are the questions that come to mind.
It's worrisome. And that's why when we started the show, we said some of the stories we have in front of us are stories that would get you, asking questions and, if possible, also being worried. Because if a justice in a state was whisked, let me use that word, whisked away in the dark, and someone had just the opportunity to video record that and also share with very key members, and then for us as a station reaching out to also getting reliable sources from security operatives telling us that's not a modus operandi of the security agents, especially in 2025. This is a clear case of a kidnap. Then we know that truly what we are seeing play out, especially in different states, in different areas, shows that there is a problem with our security. This is also a wake-up call. Remember when we had the Borno State governor? He himself had said that when we asked if we're looking at a state of emergency in Borno State, his response quickly was, no, this state of emergency should be for the whole of the country.
Valid.
And we're starting to see what he really meant, because just like we said, 56 persons died over the weekend, and then you're saying this again, and then you clearly know that there is a big problem.
Indeed. Anyway, we'll look more about at these stories and continue to report them as we receive. Hopefully, we don't have a lot more of that, even though right now it feels like hope is thinning out. We'll go